One night in a beautiful and stylish condo unit, a handsome man who just finished his shower was alarmed when he heard someone repeatedly try to access the door passcode. He immediately took a spoon when his door suddenly opened. He saw a drunk woman entering the room while slowly approaching him. The woman went straight ahead towards him, and they both fell. When the woman lifts her head, she calls him Gift. Before this incident, the woman was with her sister having drinks in a bar. She took every glass she could see and drank it. Her sister tries to convince her to go home and says she prepared a gift for her at home. After having several glasses, the woman came home. While they were in their awkward position, Gift called her name Guyan Ng. She complimented his body and showed her bold interest in him. Thinking that he is the Gift that her friend is referring to, Gift immediately stands up, but Gu Yanxi doesn't let him go and says that he belongs to her tonight. What she knows is that her sister paid the man for her as a gift. She says that after he receives his payment, he must not try to delay it and leave. The man was still confused by the situation. He asked her if she was sure of everything she said, and he immediately kissed her on the lips and shared the night. Early in the morning, both of them were startled by the scream of her sister. Her sister saw them cuddling in the bed. She asks them why they are sleeping together. Sixi immediately grabs her clothes and gets out of bed. Sixi, with so much confusion, asks why her sister's hysterical reaction. She thought that her sister arranged it by paying the man as her gift. Her sister apologized to the man and called him little uncle. She said that she had no idea that he already returned to China. Sixi and her sister went to the living room and talked. Her sister said that she was in big trouble. The handsome man Sixi slept with is her sister's brother-in-law. She felt worried for her because he is the kind of man who has a great devil with outstanding abilities, and if anyone offends him will not end well. Sixi repeatedly said that she thought it was her sister's gift for her. It turns out that the gift she was referring to is Sixi's favorite doll. Jixi grabbed the doll and sat on the couch. Her sister doesn't know what to do. Her sister asked her to apologize to him, but Sixi is hesitant, thinking that he might not accept her apology. Her sister assures her that if anything happens, she'll think of another way. Her sister also worries about their age gap because he is already 30 and Jixi is just in her 20s. While they were talking, the man overheard them. She was startled when she saw that he was listening to their conversation. She immediately walked away and left the two to talk. Sixi was left alone and immediately apologized. She explained that she did not do it on purpose. He teased her and said that she was so proactive last night. She said that she's been very drunk and it's not intentional. She asked him if she could compensate him. The man agreed and said that according to his worth, the compensation of 100 million. But since she's a friend of Ziwei, he raises his hand. Sixi thought it was 5,000, but he said that it was 50 million. Sixi was in complete shock and went speechless. The man noticed that the 50 million wouldn't do, so he offered her another option. Sixi becomes interested and asks about it. Without hesitation, the man said that she must marry him. Sixi immediately declined the offer and said that she was not suitable for him. He told her that she just needs to behave like last night. He thinks that it's quite appropriate. Sixi said that she has no cars or house and has a bad temper. He said that a car can be equipped for her, and about the house, he said that there are 10 villas in Nanchang. It has 3 sets of river views and 2 sets of large flats in the city center. He said that she can pick whatever she likes. Regarding her temper, he said that he's okay with it. Sixi continues to discourage him and said that she snores in her sleep, grinds her teeth, and farts. When she saw that the man was oblivious to all the ugly features she said, she tried to add more ugly things about her. She said that she is lazy, sloppy, and can't cook. The man immediately said that there would be a nanny. Sixi ran out of excuses, but she suddenly thought of saying that she was infertile and would not be able to carry on the family lineage of the Liu family. She tried to convince him that he was the only heir of the Liu family and she couldn't trap him in injustice for her selfishness. At this moment, Zixi seems to convince him not to marry her and she starts to smile, thinking that the problem has been resolved. Unfortunately, the man stood up and said that she seemed to be unwilling and he could only call the police. Zixi immediately tries to grab his phone. While she was busy grabbing the phone, he suddenly grabbed her by the waist and pulled her close to him. And while their bodies were bound to each other, Zixi remembered her friend's advice to get married if she got married. According to her friend, rich people like him are just looking for something new. Finally, she agrees to get married to him, but on one condition: he is not allowed to mention their marriage to anyone, and if he meets someone he likes, she can divorce him at any time. The man agreed with her condition. Soon after, their marriage was officially filed. Ziwei called her, but Sixi said that he accepted her apology. Ziwei was surprised because she thought that her brother-in-law would not let her go easily. Sixi redirected that topic and asked Ziwei if she had anything else to say. Ziwei told her that she must come to school quickly. In school, a girl named Lun Shuyu is spreading posters all over the campus about Yu Yuanxi. Jiwei confronted her, but Lun Shuyu continued spreading the rumors that Jixi had stolen her fiancé. Zixi immediately defended herself and explained. She admitted that Song Shuchuan is her ex, but when he was with her, he didn't say that he had a fiancé. Lun Shuyu didn't believe it and still insisted that Jixi was a bad person. There were too many people around them when Song Shuchuan came and stopped her. But instead of stopping, she went more aggressive and determined to embarrass Zixi. But the truth is, they were the ones who were cheating on Zixi. Fearing that Zixi might spread their affair, they planned to have the upper hand with her and turn the situation around. Song Shuchuan said that he told her that he has a fiancé. Therefore, some of the people around them were convinced that Zixi was a bad person. They started to humiliate and say bad things about her. Leng Shuyu teased her more by saying that she was guilty of all the accusations. Zixi borrowed a racket from her classmate and started to strike them. She threatened them that she would call the police and charge them with defamation for spreading rumors. Leng Shuyu still acted strong and mighty and said that her father was the director of the school. But Zixi remained unbothered and said that when she discovered their affair, Leng Shuyu even said that she was just a friend. Everything went in complete chaos when the director arrived at the scene. Leng Shuyu played the victim and said that Zixi was bullying her. Meanwhile, they were called into the office. The two continued playing the victim and told her not to go too far. The director started to humiliate her by saying that she's always been a pace-setter in learning and that her family environment is not very good either. He tries to use the scholarship to hold her back because it will greatly affect her graduation. Leng Shuyu insults her clothes and says that it's a street stall and that the scholarship is enough for her living expenses for 1 year. She also threatened her that if she didn't get her diploma, the company she interned in might not want her, which would leave her with no choice but to go back to the countryside and dig holes in the soil. Leng Shuyu laughs so hard when a familiar voice speaks up. He mocked Leng Shuyu by scaring people when she's laughing so hard. He insulted Leng Shuyu and said that her face looked pretty scary too. But the director middle and clarifies that the man is not from their school. He asks him to go out temporarily if he is there for Zixi. When he is about to leave, he asks Zixi to go out with him, but Leng Shuyu interferes and says that Zixi can't leave. The director told Zixi that she could go out of his door today, but it's not as simple as delaying her graduation. Song Shuchuan stands up and asks her who is this man. He thought that Zixi and the man had been hooking up a long time ago. Zixi just told him that it's none of his business. Mr. Lu told Song Shuchuan that he was not qualified to know him. Leng Shuyu immediately sided with her father and called him arrogant. The director called his assistant to send him away, but the school principal came and apologized to Mr. Lu. He said that they didn't know him. Leng Shuyu asks her uncle principal, but the principal stops her from asking. They all take a sit to discuss the matter. Mr. Lu said that since the principal is here, they must let this matter go. The principal said that he did his research about this matter and Zixi is innocent. He scolded Leng Shuyu for slandering her classmate and spreading rumors to cause trouble. She was given 3 days to apologize publicly, and she's under observation of repeating a grade. Leng Shuyu was surprised and asked if the principal's decision was because of the inexplicable man. Zixi stood up and told Leng Shuyu that if she could rely on her father to turn right and wrong, she could also have someone's help to clear her grievance. Leng Shuyu was embarrassed and annoyed with Zixi, so she tried to hit her, but Zixi blocked her and slapped her face instead. Leng Shuyu reported to her father again and cried like a child. The director tried to turn the principal's side to them. He said that they must get rid of her first. He then started to ask the principal what is his responsibility he has to bear. The principal asks him back if he can afford to take the responsibility. When the principal is about to tell them who he is, Mr. Lu interferes and says that he has no time to waste. Mr. Lu left with Zixi and asked the principal to take care of the matter himself. After they left, the principal called on the director Leng Jianchang and said that he abused his power and was expelled from the school. Leng Shuyu and Song Shuchuan's eyes were blown out after hearing it. Jiwei was waiting outside the office while worrying about her friend, but when she saw that her uncle and Zixi were already out, she immediately felt relieved. Zixi thanked her friend and Mr. Lu cleared his throat to remind Zixi that she must also thank him. Ziwei has completely no idea that her brother-in-law and her friend are already married. Mr. Lu told Ziwei that he remembered that her mother said that she wanted to send her to study in Australia. Jiwei immediately got excited, but her brother-in-law said that he would help her if she went away within 3 seconds. Jiwei quickly ran as fast as she could, which left Zixi and Mr. Lu all alone. Mr. Lu asked Zixi to talk in the car. Meanwhile, Leng Shuyu secretly followed them and found out that Mr. Lu was Ziwei's uncle. Suddenly, his father came to her and asked him if he had really been fired from his job. His father nodded sadly and said that the principal needed to step down if he didn't get fired. Leng Shuyu became curious about Mr. Lu's background. His father told him that the background of Mr. Lu isn't small. He also warned her daughter not to provoke Zixi again in the future. While Zixi and Mr. Lu are in the car, Mr. Lu asks her how will she address him. Zixi says that she'll call him Mr. Lu, but he seemed to be unhappy with her answer and teased her that if she called him wrong again, he'd get closer to her even more. Mr. Lu started to pull his face closer to Zixi. That's why she said that she'll call him husband. After hearing what he wanted to hear, he came back to his proper position and told her that if she didn't want others to know about their relationship, she could call him Mr. Lu from now on. After having an agreement, Mr. Lu gave Zixi a black card. She immediately declined it and said that she didn't need it. But Mr. Lu insisted, that made Zixi left with no choice but to accept it. She then told him she must go because she had a class in the afternoon. When Jixi got out of the car, Mr. Lu noticed that she forgot to give another thing to Shixi. He went out to follow her. Zixi is now relieving her tension while walking when her ex-boyfriend, Song Shuchuan, came in her way. He asked her about Mr. Lu. Jixi tried to avoid him. Song Shuchuan said that he and Leng Shuyu are just a family marriage and Zixi is the one he truly likes. Zixi challenges and asks if he can break up with Leng Shuyuan for her. He didn't answer the question directly. Instead, he asks Zixi if they can maintain their current relationship even if he gets married to Leng Shuyu. He even tried to deceive her and said he would not treat her badly. But Zixi is smart. She immediately declines his offer. When Song Shuchuan didn't get what he wanted, he grabbed at Zixi's arms and tried to hurt her. Fortunately, Mr. Lu came at the right time to defend her wife. Song Shuchuan said that Zixi is her girlfriend. Zixi immediately denies it and tells him that she doesn't like collecting rags. Song Shuchuan left embarrassed. Mr. Lu said that he wanted to accept Zixi's gratitude. She asked him how she could thank him and Mr. Lu brought her back into the car and kissed her. Zixi becomes uncomfortable and Mr. Lu says that she is not allowed to have any entanglement with any man, so he gives her the ring. Before Zixi got out of the car, Mr. Lu said that he would pick her up after school tonight. Zixi asks where they will go, and Mr. Lu says that they are now married and they must go home together. He added that yesterday night was an accident, but tonight is their wedding night. He warned her that this was not a game and Zixi must take it seriously. Right after she got out of the car, Jiwei noticed that her lips were swollen. She thought that her brother-in-law hit Zixi. However, she derived the topic and reminded Jiwei that they still have classes to attend. Meanwhile, the two cheaters Leng Shuyu and Song Shuchuan were fighting. He blames her for ending up in a hard situation. But Leng Shuyu said that he agreed to do it. She said that she had another plan for Zixi. She said that Jixi is an intern at Lu Group, and since Song Shuchuan has a family member who works for the Lu Group, she asks him to take away Zixi's job. She thought that Shen Ziwei's uncle couldn't reach the Lu Group. She excitedly shared her thoughts to make Zixi kneel and beg for them. Song Shuchuan saw Zixi and Mr. Lu kissing in the car earlier, that's why he becomes desperate to make Zixi kneel and beg him. At night, Jiwei and Jixi were walking when Jiwei noticed that Jixi was walking slowly. She became curious about Jixi's feelings about sleeping with Mr. Lu. Jiwei said that many girls dream of marrying Mr. Lu. Jiwei also said that it is a good thing for Zixi not to marry Mr. Lu because if it happens, Zixi will become her auntie. Zixi has thought of not wanting to be Ziwei's auntie when a man came in front of them. Jiwei thought that her uncle sent the man to pick her up, but unfortunately, the man said that he had come to pick up Zixi. Jiwei was surprised. Jixi quickly thought of a way and said that she wanted to treat Mr. Lu to a meal. Ziwei wanted to come along, but the man said that the only instruction of her boss was to pick up Zixi. Jixi cooperated and went in the car. Meanwhile, Mr. Lu is taking his shower while Zixi is in the bedroom full of rose petals. She went into the shower and Mr. Lu came near her and had her cornered in the wall. He pulled her in closer to his body and said that no matter what she looked, he still likes her. And they shared their first night as husband and wife. Early in the morning, while Zixi is heading out, two men are bullying an old security guard. But despite humiliation and insults, the old security guard still implemented the regulations of the company, not allowing strangers to be brought in. The men can't hold their temper and one of them holds the clothes of the security guard, but Zixi intervenes and stops them from what they're doing. Zixi asks for their IDs. The man is Zixi's team leader Xiao. He arrogantly scolded Zixi for treating him like a stranger, but Zixi bravely addresses him that as an old employee of the company, he should lead by example rather than embarrassing other people. Her team leader was out of words and walked out. Zixi immediately asks the old security guard if he is all right. The security guard asked for her name before she left. Zixi was asked to go to his team leader's office. Song Shuchuan and the team leader are waiting for her. The team leader told her that out of the 3 interns, only 1 will remain. But since Zixi becomes arrogant to him, she might not be considered. Song Shuchuan said that Jixi had no choice but to come back to him. She despises Shuchuan of all people and chooses to resign rather than come back to him. Zixi went back to her desk and started to pack her things when the chairman arrived. It turns out that the old security guard earlier were just pretending to be a security guard. He is the chairman, the team leader, and Shuchuan recognized him and immediately apologized. Without any other words, the chairman fired both of them for lacking basic respect for the company grassroots. They were immediately thrown out of the company and escorted by the guards. However, the chairman turned his attention to Zixi and told her that he had arranged for the group to transfer her to a regular position in advance. He then asks her if she is free for the night, because he wanted to invite her to a casual meal. In the office of Mr. Lu, his assistant reported that his father, the chairman, already did what he asked him to do, and his wife has been assigned as her personal secretary. His assistant told him that his father had arranged a blind date party for him tonight. Mr. Lu was not interested to go to the blind date, but the chairman warned him that if he doesn't show up, many people will die. Mr. Lu have no other choice but to show up. Later that night, Mr. Lu meets his first date and the woman started to talk to him, but Mr. Lu frankly said that he is not interested in her. Unfortunately, Zixi saw him talking with another girl alone. She couldn't hold herself but to middle in their conversation. She said things that will make the girl turn off. Upon hearing such things, the girl immediately left. Mr. Liu explained that the woman has been arranged on a blind date by her family, and he already refused before she showed up. Jixi told him that she came in the restaurant to have a meeting with the chairman to discuss about her work, but the chairman didn't show up. Mr. Liu said that the chairman might have an emergency and asks her to go back home. After the left, someone is eavesdropping in their conversation and called someone to make a report to the chairman. The chairman likes Zixi for his son and intentionally set up the blind date. He and her wife were completely unaware that their son and Zixi is already married. The chairman convinced her wife that she'll like Zixi once she got a chance to meet her. Leng Shuyu and Song Shuchuan are both having a meeting and discuss things between Jixi and the chairman of Lu Group. Song Shuchuan confirms that Jixi hugged the chairman. Leng Shuyu was worried that if she apologized, it will look like that she's admitting what happened between the both of them. The next morning, Jixi has been dropped by a luxury car in the school. Leng Shuyu is watching from a distance, and when Jixi already went in the school, Shuyu hurriedly comes in front of the car and acted that she was hit. The driver immediately offered his assistance to Shuyu and brings her to the hospital. Meanwhile, inside the school, Jiwei and Jixi were having a conversation about their last class in college. Zixi told her that she wants to say something to her. Jiwei excitedly replied and teased Zixi if she's already married. Zixi was surprised. She thought that Ziwei learned her secret. When she found out that she's just teasing her, she told Ziwei that she has been regularized in her job. Jiwei congratulates her and invites her to celebrate, but Zixi said that she'll think about it. Mr. Liu is having a meeting when Jixi calls him. He paused the meeting to answer the call. This is the first time he paused the meeting to answer a call. His staff thinks that whoever it is that's calling might be a big corporation. On the phone, Mr. Liu asks his wife if she's all right and asks the reason of her call. Zixi asks for his permission if she could go home late tonight because she plans to celebrate with Ziwei regarding her job regularization. Her husband said that she just got married and she already planning to stay up all night. In the end, Mr. Liu allowed her wife to celebrate with Ziwei. After the call with his wife, he asks someone to escort her wife at night. Jixi has been caught by Ziwei that she's talking with someone over the phone. She went curious about it and forced her to talk more about who it is. Zixi immediately found an excuse and said that it's the company leader because she refuses to attend in the company dinner. At night, they went in the bar to celebrate, but coincidentally, Shu Chuan was also in the same bar while having drinks with his friend. She blames Ixi for everything that's happening in him. Meanwhile, they are all having their drinks when one of his friends came to notify him that Sixi is drinking next door. He decided to go to Sixi and brings all of his friends. They went next door to make trouble. The ladies decided to ignore and leave them, but his friend blocked them. Ziwei talks to them, but all she got is a slap in her face. Song Shuchuan grabbed Xixi's arms and took her away. The person sent by Mr. Liu already notified him and he rushed into the bar to save his wife. He came in the room where he caught them showering Ziwei alcohol all over her body. Mr. Liu punched them one by one. Ziwei told him that Jixi has been taken by Song Shuchuan. Next door, Song Shuchuan tried to harass and kiss Sixi. She resisted very hard, and when she got the chance to loosen up from him, she took a bottle of wine and hit Song Shuchuan's head. But before she could escape, Song Shuchuan cornered her. He went very angry from being hit and he said that he will kill Sixi. He started to strangle her, but Mr. Liu came in time and saved her wife. Song Shuchuan has been grabbed by Mr. Liu's assistant. He arrogantly told Mr. Liu that his grandfather is from the Song family, Song Ban Chung, and boastfully said that his family ranks among the top 10 richest people in the city. But Mr. Liu didn't get scared a bit from what he is saying. Mr. Liu brings out her wife from the room and they meet Ziwei, who's been dying in worry for her friend. Mr. Liu blames Yui for bringing her to a place like this. He then told Ziwei that he'll bring home Sixi and instructed his assistant to lock Ziwei at home for 3 days. Mr. Liu couldn't hold his anger and Jixi defended Ziwei, saying that it is not her fault because she is the one who invited her to celebrate her achievement. Mr. Liu told his assistant Mr. Wu to bring home Jiwei. After that, he carried Zixi on their way out. Ziwei was surprised by the action of her brother-in-law. Out of curiosity, she asked Mr. Wu about their true relationship. But Mr. Wu remained calm and quiet and told her to head outside. Ziwei was still in her thoughts. She thought that Mr. Liu had a crush on Sixi. One morning, Leng Shuyu spends her night with the driver of the car who dropped Sixi at school. She wasn't aware that the man she slept with was just an ordinary driver. Now that she slept with him, she thinks that she is way better than Jixi. The driver said that she should not talk about Miss Gu casually. Leng Shuyu asks him what he wants him to talk about Jixi. Additionally, she told him that she didn't want to get embarrassed tomorrow and could just apologize to her in private. But the driver said that he can't decide for Miss Gu. Leng Shuyu started to play her pitiful act because she didn't want to apologize to her in public. She then cried to make the driver side with her. The driver got carried away with her acting and said that he would be responsible for what she was asking. After hearing it, Leng Shuyu immediately changes her mode. The driver left a card to Leng Shuyu before he left. Meanwhile, in the couple's house, Mr. Liu and Sixi are having their romantic moment. Mr. Liu still carrying her when she said that she could walk on her own. Her husband puts her down and corners her on the wall. He then started to kiss her torridly. For the first time, Sixie pulls her husband closer to him. The couple spends the rest of their night full of intimacy. When the morning came, Sixie woke up and saw that her husband had already gotten up from bed. Before she got up, she saw her photo on the side table of the bed. She became curious about how it got there. She decided not to think about it too much and prepared to go to school. She was already in the car when the driver asked her if she knew Leng Shuyu. Jixie politely said that she was her classmate. The driver, Mr. Chen, said that he bumped into Leng Shuyu yesterday, that's why he asked. When they entered the school, Leng Shuyu had been waiting for her. She wears a grand dress. She thought that the man she slept with convinced Jixie to make her apologize privately. But Jixie insisted that she must do it publicly. Leng Shuyu was left with no choice but to apologize publicly. Right after her apology, rumors about her and Song Shuchuan spread. To get her revenge, Leng Shuyu hired a private investigator to follow Jixie. One morning, Jixie, working in the Lu Group company, receives a call from her mother. She came running to the hospital where her father had been admitted for acute appendicitis and was still under surgery. Her mother is a very selfish mom. She then told Jixie to immediately pay for the hospital bill. When they arrived at the cashier, the personnel asked to deposit 10,000 yuan. Jixie took out her card, but the cashier said that the card had insufficient balance. Her mother humiliates her for working in town for too long, yet she doesn't have 10,000 yuan. Jixie has no choice but to use the black card that her husband gave her. Her mother became interested in the black card. After swiping the black card, her mother took it. Jixie explained that she just borrowed the card from her friend. Unfortunately, her mother didn't believe that it was not just her friend. Mr. Lu was busy at his office when his assistant came in and said that there was a purchase in the black card he gave to Jixie. Mr. Lu asked how much the withdrawal, and the assistant said that it was 10,000 yuan. Mr. Lu ignored it because it was just a little money. But when Mr. Wu said that the withdrawal had been made in the hospital, Mr. Lu immediately told him to prepare the car. Jixie and her mother are still discussing the black card. She repeatedly explained that it was not her money, but her mother refuses to give it back. They went to her father's room, but instead of thanking her for paying the medical bill, her father learned that Jixie has a black card. He told her to spend it for the upcoming wedding of her brother. He was angry to Jixie for hiding such a huge money from them. He throws a pillow at her when Mr. Lu arrived. Jixie tried to invite him outside to talk, but her father asked Mr. Lu. Jixie had no choice but to introduce her parents to Mr. Lu. Her mother told Mr. Lu that if he wants to marry their daughter, he needs to give 1 million won as a dowry. Jixie refused to agree with her mother. Her mother slaps her, and Mr. Lu interfered and said that if Jixie's mom hit her again, he will call the police to report her. Jixie's mom backed away in an instant after hearing it. Mr. Lu brought Jixie out to have her cheeks checked. He told Jixie that her parents have no right to bully her or hurt her. Jixie remembered the old days when she came home to report to her parents about being admitted to college, but they just told her that she will just waste the money and find a man to marry her instead for them to get dowry from her. Thankfully, she has a very kind and generous grandmother who's willing to give her anything. Jixie said that Mr. Lu didn't have to worry because she's already used to be hurt by her parents. Mr. Lu assures her that she will never be hurt or bullied by anyone anymore. The next day at the Lu Group company, the 3 interns, including Jixie, has been called by the secretary for an interview for the secretary position. They've been asking about their qualifications. Unfortunately, Jixie is the only one who has a low working experience. After being interviewed, they were asked to go back to their desk, but the secretary went out and called Jixie. She was asked regarding her marital status, and since she is married, the secretary considered her because she seems to have lesser thought for the CEO. The secretary asked her to take all of her stuff to take her in the president's office. She came back in her office and started to pack her things, but her colleagues went pissed when Jixie had been chosen. They went to the president's office when Jixie saw the assistant of her husband opening the door. The secretary left her in the office, and when she entered, she was shocked when she saw her husband sitting. She then realized that the man she marries is the president of the Lu Group. She has no idea about it since Yue didn't tell her also. Jixie told him that she can't accept that kind of promotion because she's not qualified for it and asks him to let her go back to her previous job. Mr. Lu didn't allow and said that his wife must be his personal secretary who will handle his food, clothing, housing, and transportation. He also said that there are many people in the company who covet him. He asked Jixie if she wanted her to push her husband to someone else. Jixie decided to take the job, and she plans to wait for him to get tired of their marriage. Mr. Lu said that Jixie might be thinking that he will divorce her soon, but Jixie denies it and said that she can never divorce someone like him who is so good at everything. Mr. Lu immediately kisses her in her lips and warns her that he is the only one who owns her. Their romantic moment has been interrupted when his assistant came in without knocking. The assistant said that the chairman and his wife are in the company. Jixie decided to go out, but the assistant said that Mr. Lu parents are already at the door as they speak. Jixie immediately hid under the desk, but her husband said that she must go out because sooner or later she will definitely meet them. Jixie hasn't come out yet when Mr. Lu parents came in. The chairman went with her wife to talk about the last blind date he set up for his son, but their son said that they should stop sending him in a blind date and said that he is already married. His parents went into a total shock after learning that their son got married without their approval. The chairman set up a blind date for Sixi and his son, but unfortunately, during that night an unknown girl took a sit that causes misunderstanding between him and his father. With so much surprise, the chairman took a sit to have himself relax. He was disappointed with his son marrying all of a sudden with a girl that they haven't met. He felt pity towards Yanxi for being unselected because the chairman really liked her for his son. Mr. Lu went curious by the name Yanxi that his father just said. He asked him to clarify his thoughts and his father told him the complete name of the girl he liked for him is Go Yanxi. Mr. Lu realized that the girl that his father was talking to and the girl he married is the same person. The chairman liked her even though she did not come from a big family. She is humble and a kind-hearted person. The chairman was disappointed, but he is kind enough and said not to remove the girl that was hired for the personal secretary position. The chairman said that Mr. Lu must arrange another position for Gu Yanxi. Mr. Lu asked him if what position should he give to Gu Yanxi. His mother said that he can arrange a small position for her instead. Mr. Lu said that he can give his brother position or his position for her. His father completely disagrees with him. Mr. Lu said in an instant that he will therefore give his position to his wife. The chairman stopped from talking when he realized that Gu Yanxi is the woman whom their son married. The couple immediately celebrates. His father thinks that their son is just lying. Mr. Lu said that Gu Yanxi can explain herself. He asked her wife to come out from hiding. Sixi came out and made an excuse saying that she's not feeling well, that's why she lied down and took a rest. The chairman scolded his son for letting Zixi lie on the ground and rest. Zixi said that it's her will to lie at the ground. The chairman's wife stops him and told him that he is so naive. She is very happy to finally meet Yu Yanxi as they both have the same demeanor back when the chairman's wife is young. The chairman confirms and asked Zixi if they were really married. Zixi said yes, addressing him as chairman. The chairman told her not to address him like that, but instead, she can call him daddy. He then asked if how did they met each other. Mr. Lu is about to answer, but Zixi interfered and said that she made a confession when Mr. Lu came back in China. She said this because she doesn't want them to know how they exactly meet. They were about to send the chairman and his wife out of the door to go home when the secretary noticed that Zixi is already close to the family. She approached Zixi while she's having her coffee at the pantry. She arrogantly told her not to dream of things that doesn't belong to her and reminds her that she's a married woman. Zixi ignored her and said that she'll listen carefully to her if it's about work. Yanmin, the secretary, feels jealous to her, that's why she told her that the president will never like her. Zixi did not let her to bully her. Yanmin took the drink and poured it all to Zixi. Zixi urged her to apologize, but she refuses to. She went in the ladies' room and Zixi followed her and beat her. Right after their fight, they were called to the president's office. Yanmin immediately played like a victim and said that she treated her so bad that caused her bruises. But Zixi didn't admit it. She said that she went to the bathroom to clean her blouse and Yanmin just fall in the ground. Yanmin then asked Mr. Lu to make his own judgment because her injuries don't look like caused by a fall. Without hesitation, Mr. Lu said that she is fired. Yanmin thought that Mr. Lu referring Zixi. It turns out that she is the one who's being fired. Mr. Lu explained that he knows that Yanmin poured coffee on Zixi. Yanmin were embarrassed and said that she wants to call the police. Mr. Lu allowed her to do whatever she wants, but he also said that there are CCTV footage showing what she did to Zixi. Back in the hospital, Mr. Lu's assistant came in to Shixi's parents' room. He's carrying a bag with 1,000,000 won inside. He said that it's from his boss and it's a payment for their daughter. The cruel couple were very happy seeing plenty of money and promised that they will never bother Shixi anymore. Meanwhile, the school held a ceremony for the outstanding student and Gu Yanxi is supposed to give a speech, but before she went in the hall, Jiaye came running towards her and she excitedly said that she has an auntie and the news has been spread out in their entire family. Shixi became nervous thinking that her secret has been revealed. While they were talking, Leng Shuyu butted in and confronted them, but they just ignored her and walked away from her. Leng Shuyu felt embarrassed, and she plans to embarrass Zixi in front of many people in the ceremony. The announcer called Zixi to give her inspirational speech as the outstanding senior student of the school. When she is about to finish her speech, Leng Shuyu suddenly showed up and make a scene. She started to distribute a photo of Zixi with the Lu Group's driver. Leng Shuyu told everyone that Zixi had been going out with an old man where she thought is the chairman of Lu Group. Zaiwei immediately defended her friend and said that the old man in the photo is a butler of the Lu Group and not the chairman. Leng Shuyu didn't believe her and dared Zixi to explain the photo. She bravely defends herself from all the false accusation of Leng Shuyu. Zixi seems to be certain with all the words coming out from her mouth when Leng Shuyu started to think that she might be wrong, and the table started to turn when all the negative things came back to Leng Shuyu. Some of the students also vouched for Gu Yanxi. Leng Shuyu tried to divert the topic back to Gu Yanxi and ask why the butler of Lu Group picks her up. Mr. Lu stands up and revealed to everyone that he is the CEO of the Lu Group and Gu Yanxi is his wife. He also said that Shixi is being picked up by the Lu Group butler every time she goes to inform work. Leng Shuyu couldn't believe it while everyone in the room were stunned by the handsomeness of the Lu Group CEO. Ziwei is also surprised by the revelation and realized that her friend Xixi is the wife of his uncle. But Mr. Lu told that everyone is invited to their official wedding except Leng Shuyu. The crowd clapped their hands and celebrates. Meanwhile, the Lu group's butler came in with her wife. He's being dragged in the stage and his wife asks him to reveal the woman who seduced him. Without hesitation, the butler points his finger toward Leng Shuyu and said that she's the one who seduced him. The butler's wife slaps Leng Shuyu many times in front of her schoolmates. Mr. Lu and Xixi took this opportunity to leave the room. Jai Wei followed them, but Xixi quickly gets in the car because she still doesn't know what to say to her friend after revealing that she is her aunt. While the couple is in the car, the mother of Xixi called her and said that his father is about to get discharged. Xixi went in the hospital to check his ungrateful parents. Xixi is unaware of the evil plan of her own parents. Her mother gave a drink with a sleeping pill. They are still after the black card money, and they decided to bring Xixi back in their hometown so they can get more money from her. Xixi took the drink and suddenly lost her consciousness. Her parents immediately carried her out to their car. Mr. Lu is waiting outside the hospital when he noticed that Xixi had been out for a while. He told his assistant to come and check Xixi, but he is already too late because Xixi has been kidnapped by her own parent. Meanwhile, in Xixi hometown, she woke up with her hands were tied and was being detained in a room. She called her parents and they told her to call her husband and give them another 1,000,000 won as her ransom. Her brother also joined their parents in their evil plans. Xixi learned that his husband gave her family a 1,000,000 won and now asking another huge amount of money for her ransom. Xixi refused to follow her father. In the middle of the night, Xixi grandma came in her room and untied her hands. Xixi promised to come back for her grandmother. She was about to escape when her brother caught her and called his parents. Unfortunately, the escape plan of Xixi didn't work. They captured and her grandma tried to protect her, but her father asks his wife to detain the elder in the dormitory. Xixi received plenty of slaps from his own father. He then decided to call someone in the village to marry his daughter in exchange of money. The man tried to harass her. Fortunately, Mr. Lu came at the right time and beat the man. Xixi asks his husband to go back first in their house. When her family saw her with Mr. Lu, her father immediately welcomes them as if there's nothing happened. Xixi throws all her grudge towards them, and her grandmother told them to stop blood-sucking Xixi. It turns out that Xixi's scholarship ever since she went to study has been ending up in her family's pocket. In her own despise of her family, the grandma revealed that she is not a true grandmother of Xixi and they are not her true parents. The grandma asks Mr. Lu to protect his Xixi from now on. She said that she regrets that she picked up Xixi in the city when she is a baby. Her grandma showed her a jewelry that Xixi wears when she picked her. She also begs Xixi to spare her kids and asks if she could give them another chance to change. After saying her request to Xixi, she immediately falls down. She drinks a poison because she believes that someone needs to pay for her family's sin. Xixi grandma died that night. The next day, Xixi has been admitted in the hospital after receiving a lot of bruises she gets from her father. Xixi is having her dreams when she woke up and saw that her husband is sitting by her side. Mr. Lu offered her a drink, but since Xixi still can't get up, he decided to drink the water and pass it on her by his mouth. Surprisingly, his parents came in and caught them. They were very kind towards Xixi. His mother brings her a food for her fast recovery. Song Shuchuan has been brought in by his grandfather to apologize to Xixi. But Xixi didn't say a word for him. When they're about to leave, Song Shuchuan grandfather mistakenly looks Xixi as her own daughter, but Song Shuchuan told his grandfather that his daughter already died and they left. The chairman felt bad for the old man because he lost his daughter for killing herself because of love, and his wife followed her daughter. The chairman and her wife also said goodbye to Xixi and her wife. Mr. Lu escorted them throughout the door, and Xixi cried, feeling bad for the loss of her only protector, her grandmother. Her husband comforted her and promised to make her grandmother's wish come true. On the day that Xixi has been dismissed in the hospital, her husband picked her up, surprising her with a bunch of roses placed in the trunk of his car. He then invites Xixi to accompany him as attending the Du family dinner. On the day of the event, the couple arrived in the venue looking so beautiful and handsome. Jiwei and Xixi met at the event. Luckily, Jiwei is not mad at her for keeping a secret. Their friendship is still firm and happy. While they were talking, the elder woman, who is a sister of Ziwei's grandfather, approached them and insulted Xixi for having a beautiful face but no beautiful background. Jiwei tried to protect Xixi, but she replied sarcasm that made the elder reacted so bad. Their turmoil hasn't stopped and caused disturbance in the event. The chairman notices them, but Mr. Lu protects his wife, saying that her aunt is the one who started it. Mr. Lu's mother defended her daughter-in-law against the sister of her husband. The event is about to start and Mr. Lu asks Ziwei to take care of Xixi for a while. The two best friends were left alone together. Jiwei explained to Xixi the reason why the elder earlier were so bad towards her is because she's married to one of the Leng family members. While they were talking, the grandfather of Song Shuchuan came near them as he noticed the necklace that Xixi is wearing. He kindly asks her if he could take a closer look at it. Xixi removed the necklace and gave it to him. He confirms that the necklace is his first purchase for his late wife, which she gave to their daughter. He asked Xixi, how did she get the necklace? Sixie said that she has been picked up by her grandma in the city. The old man apologized to her and felt guilty. Way back then, when the old Song daughter got pregnant, he abandoned her and told her to take away the child she's carrying. The old man asks forgiveness to Sixie, but she told him that it's too easy to assume and they first need to do some identification. However, the old man said that his daughter really looks like her. Not too long ago, her husband came back with her side. The old man is very excited for the result of the identification. Soon, the dinner program started and the chairman welcomes all their visitors. He said that he will step down from his position and will give it to his son, Mr. Lu Yannan. He then after introduced Gu Yanxi as her daughter-in-law. But some uninvited guest arrived to ruin the party. The elder woman who humiliates his Sixie a while ago went to his older brother to avenge her. The older brother congratulates Yannan as the new chairman of the Lu group, but he strongly disagrees Sixie to be the wife of Yannan. Mr. Lu asks his uncle to leave the party and ignored everything he said about Sixie. Mr. Lu mother started to back up Sixie and made his brother-in-law feels humiliated by stating the dirty things behind his company shares. The older brother comes back to his senses and started to feel calm. He then introduces Leng Shuyu to marry Lu Yannan since the Leng family promised to share 50% of the academy. Leng Shuyu immediately flexed herself to the Lu family, but Sixie couldn't hold herself from hearing nonsense things from Leng Shuyu. She pretends to be smart, kind, and modest woman. Sixie told everyone that everything Leng Shuyu said is all lies. She bravely faces the uncle of Lu Yannan and said that she likes him, and as long as Lu Yannan chooses her, she will also choose him firmly. The uncle seems to be disappointed for not making things go in his way. Meanwhile, the Song family head receives a call from someone and said that the paternity result is now out, and it turns out that Jixi is related to him by blood. Upon confirming the truth, Mr. Song revealed that Gu Yanxi is his long-lost granddaughter, and he declared that the Song family real estate and jewelry will give 50% shares as Gu Yanxi's dowry. Everyone was surprised by the old man revelations, while Leng Shuyu feels intimidated toward Gu Yanxi after finding out that she's now better in her in all ways. She immediately grabs a knife in the table, wanting to stab Gu Yanxi out of her anger. She points the knife towards her, but Mr. Lu Yannan blocked the knife from reaching his wife. Gu Yanxi is terribly worried for her husband. She immediately asks for an ambulance. Luckily, Mr. Lu has been brought in the hospital. It's been 2 days, but the newly appointed chairman hasn't woken up. His assistant told his wife that the chairman has a business that needs to be confirmed by the chairman personally. His assistant also said that his aunt already went to take over the company. Sixie chose to go to the company in behalf of her husband. She immediately went to her husband's office where her aunt is sitting in her husband's chair. Additionally, Mr. Lu's assistant told that the former chairman has given Gu Yanxi the authority to be his representative. Gu Yanxi showed her the written agreement. The smart Gu Yanxi already convinced the uncle of her husband to give her the authority over the company. Mr. Lu uncle is blaming himself for what happened to his nephew. That's why he wanted to redeem himself and gave the authority to Gu Yanxi without his sister's knowledge. Upon reading the document, the aunt of Mr. Lu couldn't believe what her brother did. She immediately steps out of the office in embarrassment. Mr. Lu's assistant congratulates Gu Yanxi for getting rid of his husband aunt. The assistant made an appointment between Gu Yanxi and someone from other company. She went in Lijian Hotel and meet the CEO Mr. Mu to discuss arrangement of the contract to temporarily borrow a money from his company. Mr. Mu tries to play with Zixi. He teased him that he will sign the contract once Zixi drinks all the wine in the table. Zixi was determined to win the contract. She said that Mr. Mu should address her as Mrs. Lu. Then she said that she can't drink all the wine. She came prepared. She did some research about Mr. Mu before coming to meet him. Mr. Mu was amazed with Zixi for being smart person. Jixi offered him a 5% profit, but Mr. Mu doesn't want it and said that she should offer more if she wanted to ensure the stability of Lu's stock price. But Jixi said that 5% profit is the biggest concession she could offer. She added that if Mr. Mu will not accept it, he can just cancel the contract. Zixi keep her composure that made Mr. Mu applaud to her. Mr. Mu said that he will agree with the contract. Zixi is confident that Mr. Mu will sign the contract because she did her research and she's certain that everything will fall in her favor. Mr. Mu told her that he is divorced and Mr. Lu is still in a coma. He asked Zixi if she considered remarrying. Zixi quickly declined his offer and brings out the contract for him to sign already. Zixi left the hotel happily right after sealing the contract with Mr. Mu. When she's on her way to the parking area, Mr. Song Shuchuan called her saying that their grandfather is in the hospital. She quickly ran in the hospital to check her grandfather. Shuchuan said that her grandfather is exhausted and not having a good rest. According to him, the doctor said that he should stay in the hospital for observation. He asked Zixi to be with her grandfather and said that he will buy food for him. Zixi doubted Shuchuan. She asked the assistant to follow and observe him. Meanwhile, Shuchuan came to meet someone. The guy gave him a bottle of medicine, but he asked for bigger dose. The guy refused to give him a stronger dose, but when Shuchuan said that he will give him more money, the guy immediately gave him the stronger dose of medicine. Mr. Lu's assistant came by and took a video of them. He immediately showed it to Zixi. They decided to call a police to capture Shu Chuan. She sent out the assistant for a while when Shu Chuan came back into room. He was surprised seeing Zixi is still with her grandfather. He said that Zixi should go to see her husband, but Zixi refused to leave and wanted to stay with her grandfather. She asked Shu Chuan the details before her grandfather lost consciousness, but Shu Chuan doesn't know what to say. Zixi said that she will be asked for a second opinion from other hospital, and Shu Chuan quickly reacted and said that they don't need to get a second opinion anymore. Zixi is persistent in getting a second opinion that made Shu Chuan get pissed, and they started to have an argument. Zixi hit him. Shu Chuan is a very short-tempered man. He instantly got mad at her and said that she should leave and he will be the one to take care of their grandfather. The police came in and asked them to get Shu Chuan for committing crime to their grandfather. Shu Chuan has been dragged out of the room, and nurses and doctor came in to check her grandfather. The guy who gave the medicine to Shu Chuan kneeled down and asked for Zixi's forgiveness. But Zixi told him that he should not be blinded by the money and the police get him. Zixi sat on the chair after a very stressful day she's been through when the assistant came running towards her and said that Mr. Lu woke up, back in her husband's room. The couple were so happy in seeing each other again. Mr. Lu asked his wife to give him a kiss as his medicine. Zixi quickly kissed him. The assistant saw it from the door and closes his eyes, but the chairman caught him and said that Mr. Lu and Zixi is doing something inappropriate. The chairman came in and saw that Zixi and Mr. Lu is not doing anything. The couple was surprised by the sudden visit of their father. He said that he came to congratulate Zixi in handling the company crisis very well. He also said that they should get married again after Yan Nan recovered. In the middle of their conversation, the assistant said that he received an invitation for Zixi. Zixi asked him about it, and he said that Mr. Mu is inviting her to watch a movie together. Mr. Lu is mad. Mr. Mu, he told his assistant to cancel the contract with Mr. Mu immediately. But Zixi said that the contract is something she fought for with great difficulty. She tried to convince his husband to calm down. Meanwhile, the mother of Mr. Lu came in after hearing their loud noise. The chairman told his wife about it. Her mother-in-law immediately went angry towards Mr. Mu and said that she'll handle him by herself. Zixi tried to stop her from coming to Mr. Mu, but her mother-in-law said that their house has a movie theater and she can watch movies there. Mrs. Lu took her phone out and called Mr. Mu to come over in the hospital. Everyone was waiting for Mr. Mu, and when he came in, everyone in the room gives him an outraged look. He held his hands to Mr. Lu, but Mrs. Lu nagged at him. It turns out that Mrs. Lu is her godmother. His grandmother scolded him for being interested in Gu Yanxi. Mr. Mu admitted that he liked Gu Yanxi. Mr. Lu said that if he says another word again, he will cancel the contract. But Mr. Mu is very stubborn and said that he has crush on Gu Yanxi, and if Ms. Gu is willing, he won't hesitate to be banned by the Lu family. Zixi clearly said that she doesn't like him, but Mr. Mu said that he will not give up easily and leave the room. Meanwhile, a nurse came in and called Gu Yanxi in her grandfather's room. Her grandfather said that sending away Shu Chuan is the greatest kindness he can do for him. He told Zixi that right after her grandmother passed away, Shu Chuan's parents also had an accident while traveling. Zixi told him not to think too much and just have a good rest. She told him that she will go out for a while. On her way out, Mr. Mu grabbed her and put a napkin in her nose that made her fall asleep. Her husband started to wonder because Zixi hasn't come back yet. He asked his assistant to look for her. But he found out that Zixi is no longer in her grandfather's room. Meanwhile, Zixi woke up from her sleep inside the car with Mr. Mu. He said that the plane is about to arrive in 2 hours. He plans to take Zixi abroad. While Mr. Mu is driving, Zixi untie herself and steal the steering wheel from Mr. Mu. The car has been coming from left and right and ended up in an accident. Mr. Mu lost her consciousness from the strong impact, and Zixi managed to get out of the car. From a distance, her husband's car is approaching toward her. Before she totally collapses, Mr. Lu grabs her. In the hospital, where Zixi is still covering from the accident. She was sitting in a wheelchair. The sudden explosion of the car of Mr. Mu caused her injured legs. Zixi asked her friend Jiwei to help her get away because she doesn't want to drag down her husband for the rest of his life. But Ziwei refused her idea. Jiwei left to grab a drink to lighten the mood of Zixi. While she's alone, Mr. Mu came near her and said that he can help her. But before they could leave, Mr. Lu catches them. Mr. Mu took out a knife and pointed out towards Zixi's neck. He said that he will kill Zixi if Mr. Lu won't leave. Zixi, in her desperate situation, told her husband not to worry about her anymore, but her husband refuses to. He immediately grabs the knife and Mr. Mu came running for his life. Zixi asked Mr. Lu if he truly loves her. He took out a photo and showed it to her. Way back then, when Jiwei invited Zixi in her house. Zixi saw Mr. Lu sleeping in the coach. She went curious of the man's personality and asked her friend. Ziwei said that it is her uncle. When Jiwei left Zixi to have her shower, Zixi came near Mr. Lu, who's sleeping in the coach, and when she touched him, she felt that he has a fever. She immediately took a first aid kit and gave him a medicine. Right after that incident, Mr. Lu said that he's been looking for Gu Yanxi for so long. Zixi hugged her husband. One day, they went in a shop full of wedding dresses. Mr. Lu answered a call and left his wife to look for dresses, but before she could even look around, the ungrateful aunt of her husband came in and insulted Zixi for being disabled. Zixi defended herself and fight back every word that's coming out from her aunt's mouth. Her aunt told the saleslady that she will buy all the dress in the shop. The saleslady told her that their dress is high-end and the 3 dress they have cost 50 million each. Her aunt was surprised by the price, but she still hands over her card. The saleslady came back and said that the card has insufficient balance. Her aunt was very embarrassed when Mr. Liu came back. He said that he cut the credit card of her aunt because of her overspending these past few years. On their way back to their hotel, Mr. Liu suggested to buy a water for Sixi and left her out for a while. Sixi was waiting for her husband when she overheard 2 women talking about the man who had a car accident. They said that the man's legs are separated and it looks like he just came out of the supermarket. Sixi thought that it's Mr. Liu that they have been talking about. In her curiosity, she started to roll her wheelchair, but it seems to be locked. Sixi insisted to get to the supermarket and she falls and tries to stand up and walk. Surprisingly, she stood up and heading towards the supermarket. She hasn't gone far when she saw Mr. Liu standing in front of her in complete shock. Both of them were so happy that nothing happens to Mr. Liu and Sixi can stand already. Back in their hotel, Mr. Liu offered a foot bath for Sixi. When Mr. Liu is cleaning her foot, Sixi said that she is twitching, but Mr. Liu didn't stop. That's why Sixi foot kicks in the water that makes Mr. Liu wet his clothes. Sixi apologized, but Mr. Liu quickly come near her face and carried her in her room. The morning comes and Jixi woke up in surprise to have Ziwei in her bed. Jiwei said that her brother-in-law asked her to accompany Zixi in buying her jewelry for the wedding. They head out to buy some jewelry. While they were busy and eyeing nice jewelry, the ungrateful aunt came in and called Zixi a cripple who doesn't deserve to buy expensive jewelries. Zixi stand up that made her aunt embarrassed and surprised. She made an excuse that she will do something and left to avoid more embarrassment. After buying jewelry for the wedding, Zixi and Mr. Liu went to see her grandfather. Unfortunately, when they came in, they saw their grandfather lying in bed with Xu Chuan beside him. He came back to have revenge for throwing him abroad and let him feed himself. He asked Zixi to sign that agreement, saying that she will transfer all the shares she has. Zixi agreed to sign the contract. After she signed it, Xu Chuan immediately grabs the contract to check it himself. While he's busy checking the paper, Zixi immediately grabs the glass flower vase and hit Xu Chuan at the back that made him lost his consciousness. Mr. Liu and Zixi rushed their grandfather to the hospital for immediate medical assistance. Mr. Liu sent his wife back in the hotel to have her rest because their wedding will happen tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the province, the family who adopted Shixi heard on the news that Shixi is already rich now. Their son suggests to look for her. When the very special day came, Shixi is very pretty in her wedding gown. The assistant came in her room and said that her adoptive parents were outside and wanted to talk to her. Shixi refused to, but they said that they will never leave not until she talks to them. Shixi came down and talked to them. Her father asked her why didn't she notify them that she's getting married, as if they did not do anything to her. They said that they heard from the news that Shixi is billionaire now and they asked 10 million from her. After learning that Shixi will not grant their request, they said that they will ruin her wedding and made a scene. Her stepmother crawled down and cried loud that makes the people around talks about Yu Yanxi. Mr. Liu appeared in the scene, and when the stepmother saw her, she immediately gets up from the ground and stopped crying. Shixi revealed that truth for the people around them. She said that these family kidnapped her and tried to sell her. Right after saying it, people started to criticize them. But the ungrateful aunt came in with a lot of journalists. Mr. Liu warns her that if he continues to make trouble, she will not get any penny from the Liu family. The ungrateful aunt sided with Xixi's adoptive parents and asked them to expose their grievance towards Yu Yanxi. But before they could say anything against Shixi, Ziwei came down and said that Zixi and her were roommates in college, and they are not giving her tuition fees and collecting her hard-earned money. She also said that she has been deceived by them in scholarship thing. After dealing with Xixi's adoptive parents, she started to speak with her ungrateful aunt, who tried to hit her, but Ziwei blocked it and hit her in the face loudly. Her aunt was very angry on her and threatened her that she will kick her out of Liu family. But Jiwei wasn't scared of her anymore and will not tolerate her aunt anymore. She said that her surname is Shen and the Liu family doesn't have a cent-money relationship. She then called everyone's attention and revealed that her ungrateful aunt wanted to harm Sixi is because she wanted to use the Leng family's defective products, and because the Liu family stops her card, she can't continue sucking money on the Liu family. While everyone was so busy with all the revelation, Sixi's adoptive parents secretly leaves. The speaker of the ceremony called everyone to start the wedding, and the chairman and his wife arrives. The ungrateful aunt begs on her second brother. The chairman wife said that it is a very good day and she came to make trouble. She announces that starting today, the Leng family has no contact with their Liu family anymore. She went to Shixi and holds her hand while assuring her that no one will ever bully her. The Liu family went upstairs for the wedding ceremony. Everyone invited gathered to witness the most awaited ceremony of the Liu family. Gu Yanxi and Liu Yannan walks in the aisle and the wedding ceremony started. In front of all the people, both of them promised to love each other in sickness and in health, for richer and for poorer, for better and for worst, until death do they part. They exchanged rings and sealed the wedding ceremony by a kiss. After their marriage, Sixi is preparing herself to cook for dinner for her husband, but he asks her to step away from the kitchen counter because it is not good for their child to have stomachache. He gently escorted his wife in a coach and instructed him to wait until the food is cooked. After an hour of waiting, Mr. Lu finally serving the food. Sixie tried it and said that it was delicious. Mr. Lu grabs it and tried it himself, but when he tastes it, he couldn't stop from coughing. Zixi immediately gave him a water and told their baby that there is thing in this world that her dad is not good at. Both of them were having a good time while enjoying their couple journey. They live happily ever after while waiting for their first child to be born.